Hey there, Mama. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Stephanie Poole, a certified doula and lactation consultant, here to guide you from bump to bundle. Today, we're diving into what's really happening at 25 weeks pregnant. And trust me, some of it might surprise you. Here's a little hint. It's not just about growing your belly anymore. Plus, stick around because I'm sharing one simple tip that can actually make labor easier. Yes, even this early on. All right, with that being said, let's jump in. Okay, so at 25 weeks, you're basically hosting a little acrobat in there, but it's not just the kicks you'll notice. Why are you suddenly out of breath walking up the stairs? And why does your back feel like you ran a marathon that you didn't sign up for? And what's the deal with those weird, vivid dreams? Some of these we've talked about before, but I've got plenty of new information, so let's break it all down. First up, your baby is growing like crazy at 25 weeks. Here's what's new this week. Your little one is about 13 to 14 inches long and weighs around 1.5 pounds. That's roughly the size of a full cauliflower. Also, their fat is building up. Up until now, your baby looked pretty skinny, but now fat layers are starting to form, which means they're getting cuter and prepping for life outside of your womb. Now, let's talk about those lungs. We've talked about them before, but here's a little update. Your baby's lungs are starting to produce that surfactant that we talked about, right? Which is a substance that helps them breathe air after birth. And every week, they're developing more, which means they're breathing better and moving towards that after birth breathing pattern, right? All right, let's talk about the startle reflex, or it's also known as the Moro reflex. Well, that's kicking in for your baby this week. What am I talking about? That jerky jump that you sometimes feel after a loud noise. Your baby can actually be startled inside the womb now, so keep that in mind. Now, here's a quick fact for you. Did you know that babies can start to distinguish between different voices at 25 weeks? That's now. Your baby can start to tell between you and your partner. So that means if you or your partner both start to talk to the baby now, that baby will likely recognize your voices individually after birth. How sweet is that? All right, coming up, I'm going to tell you the one surprising reason why your gums might be bleeding. And no, it's not because you're brushing too hard. Plus, why 25 weeks is the perfect time to start prepping for breastfeeding, even if it feels way early. But first, let's talk about what's happening with your body. Even little activities like walking to the mailbox can leave you feeling winded. That's because your uterus is pushing up against your lungs now, which is totally normal, but a good reminder to take it slow and to give yourself grace. Let's talk about backaches. Your growing belly is shifting your center of gravity, which strains your lower back muscles. So here's a pregnancy tip. Try using a pregnancy support belt. It's a total back saver and game changer, and a comfy one too. All right, I spoke before about the bleeding gums and even nosebleeds, so let's discuss it for just a moment. Hormones can cause your blood vessels to swell, making your gums and your nose more sensitive to bleeding. So here's a gentle reminder. Switch to a soft bristled toothbrush and keep up with your dental care. Your mouth matters for pregnancy and beyond. All right, we've talked about this one for quite a few videos, but my moms always find it so fascinating, and that is weird dreams. Wild dreams are usually made up of hormone fluctuations plus a little anxiety of this new journey that you're on, right? All of that tends to lead up to a wild dream world. You might dream about labor, breastfeeding, or even totally random things, which is totally normal. Your brain is processing all of the changes that's happening with you. So it's totally normal to have some weird dreams in there. In fact, I always love to hear about them. So if you had any new ones that we haven't discussed yet, drop them in the comments below. All right, now we've talked about this one before as well, but I always like to review because, again, I get a lot of questions about Braxton Hicks contractions. They are what we call practice contractions, and they usually go away whenever you start to shift. However, you might feel some random tightening in your belly, and as long as it's mild and irregular, it's just your body's way of getting ready for the big day. If they become severe or persistent, then you should stop and call your provider. All right, now still ahead, I want to talk about why hydration becomes your secret weapon this week and why your breasts are quietly gearing up for your breastfeeding journey, even if you haven't noticed it yet. Let's talk boobs for a second, because yes, even at 25 weeks, your body is already prepping for breastfeeding. Let's talk about colostrum production, because this is important. Colostrum is that thick, yellowish liquid gold is what we call it, that your breast is already making in small amounts. The first milk packed with antibodies is really what it is. Most moms don't leak it yet, but some do, and both are normal. All right, let's talk about Montgomery glands. Have you ever noticed those tiny bumps on your nipples? Well, those are called Montgomery glands, and they're actually secreting an oily substance that keeps your nipples clean and protected. In fact, here's a fun fact. They also emit a scent that helps your baby find your breast after birth. Oh my gosh, how amazing is that? Now, with that being said, here's a mini tip. Now is a great time to start learning about breastfeeding basics, things like positioning, latching, and milk supply. And it's important to learn all of these things so that it feels natural later instead of overwhelming. All right, one more thing. Let's talk hydration real quick because it's a big deal at 25 weeks. Your blood volume is about 50% higher now than pre-pregnancy, and your body needs fluids to keep everything flowing smoothly. Dehydration can trigger Braxton Hicks, it can trigger swelling, fatigue, and even preterm labor risk. So here's a pro tip. I want you to concentrate on drinking adequate water, adequate liquids, okay? I want you to add lemons, fruit slices, a splash of juice, whatever it takes for you to consistently stay hydrated. And if you're noticing more swelling in your feet, that's your cue to prop them up and hydrate, mama. All right. At 25 weeks, you're right in that sweet spot of pregnancy. Your baby's growing, your body's adapting, and laying the foundation for an incredible birth and breastfeeding journey ahead. If you want to feel even more prepared and learn everything you need for labor, birth, postpartum, and beyond, be sure to check out Bump to Bundle Blueprint. It's like having a doula in your pocket 24/7 so that you're not Googling in the middle of the night. We've all been there. I'll be sure to drop the link below. Don't miss it. And if you found today's video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more pregnancy and newborn tips. And don't forget, tell me in the comments, what's been your weirdest pregnancy symptom so far? I absolutely love chatting with you and reading your stories in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you right back here next week for week 26 pregnancy update.